welcome to Blank Tape. I'm Kurt.
And I'm Anson, and this is Volume 2, Track 18, Man Overboard.
Recorded on Thursday, April 11, 2019. Put on your headphones and let's jam. Avast, ye matey. How ye be doing this evening?
Be doing good. We were at dinner a minute ago, and there was a pirate walking around. People were taking pictures with him.
Was it Jack Sparrow?
It was a generic-themed pirate man. No particular identification of any pirate identity.
Captain not infringing on copyright, I see.
Yeah, not Captain Crunch, not Captain Jack Sparrow, just average Jack.
No Captain Kangaroos.
So this is a travel episode, and we've done travel episodes where one of us records while we're off visiting friends or family, but this is a special international, not really, travel episode, because
you're on international waters, my friend.
All right. It's a travel episode.
You can gamble.
I can. There's a casino a couple decks down because I'm on a cruise ship.
Get your practice.
Practice counting cards and blackjack. So Elvia is a bridesmaid in a wedding later this year, and for the couple wanted to throw a bachelor/bachelorette party cruise, and so they invited everybody who was like a member of the bridal party to partake in this cruise, which was very kind and awesome. So I'm on a boat somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico right now, headed to Cozumel. Yeah.
We're on a boat, Blank Tape Generation. We're on a boat.
So there's a picture that I took of the little recording setup where I am. I'm on premium Wi-Fi, so hopefully it'll hold up. This is the only Wi-Fi plan they have that supports Skype, which is in our favor.
Nice.
So, yeah. Well,
all right. Well, since this is a travel episode, we are dealing with a compact time frame and format, so we can try and get to other exclusive Patreon things as well. So, Anson Jablinski, what are you drinking tonight?
Right now, I'm just drinking water, but I'll tell you about 30 minutes ago, I was drinking a hot Jamaican coffee with Jamaican spiced rum, Tia Maria, and some simple syrup. So they party hard here on the cruise, and their first event is one of their first events is like a welcome thing that's like at 10 p.m. So I'm not sure if we're going to go to that specifically, but so I had to have some coffee with a little bit of Jamaican rum just for fun to make sure I'm ready to rock and roll tonight. So that's what I was having.
Awesome. I've got a big old glass of Whataburger Dr. Pepper. Of course, because, we're trying to get that sweet, sweet Whataburger money, so
yeah,
that's where I had to go to dinner tonight.
Gotta do your duty.
Indeed.
Sorry if I have a bit of the sniffles. I get some allergies or something going on, but I don't know. Anyway.
Well, you're out on the high seas. That's that fresh sea salt air that's clearing up your pores and your sinuses.
Yeah, opening everything up real good. So, yeah. All right. It's actually a little more rocky than I remember. My wife and I went on a cruise in like 2016, I think, several years ago, and I didn't have to take any medicine. We had some like patches that you could put behind your ear for seasickness, and I didn't. I had one for a couple days or like a day, but it was making me too drowsy, so I took it off, and I didn't really feel anything the rest of the time. You kind of feel things moving a little bit, but today it's extra rocky. I think maybe there's some wind or weather or something, so I actually had to take some
storms. Hopefully not.
Yeah, it's not raining or anything, but it's just a little bit of turbulent water, so it's not too bad. But it is something you can feel much more than usual. But I'll be fine.
Oh no, there was a connection problem with the network. Well, I'm going to keep recording, faithful listeners, because you deserve the best. So,
all I was asking was, have you ever been on a cruise before yourself?
Have I been on a cruise? The only thing that I think would count as a cruise would be the ferry to and from Catalina Island. Maybe the ferry that we took. No, actually, I did not go on the ferry in New York City. So I did not actually get to go out and see the Statue of Liberty. So the only ferry or boat ride that I had been on was from, Los Angeles out to Catalina Island. We did not go to the Catalina wine mixer. and see helicopters. But we did get to see the giant house built by the Wrigley Gum Fortune Foundation. Oh, goodness, the rough and choppy seas. Now you're back on.
All I heard was you took the ferry to New York City, and that was all the cruise you've ever been on.
Well, I made sure to keep the recording going, so no. Technically, the only one I would count would be the ferry to Catalina in California. So I have not actually been on a cruise ship.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to, but haven't yet. Still there, Mr. Anson? I'm wondering if we need a backup plan. Yeah, are you thinking that we're going to have to try this again when you're not on the seas? Or are you going to have to get a cabin boy to stand outside the port hole with a satellite dish?
Yeah, I think that's the problem. It's like a satellite thing, so if anything goes wrong, it like drops the connection or something. It's not great.
I mean, we're stable right now, but there's no telling how long that'll last. And maybe the troubles are over. Who knows?
All right, so let's give it a try. Where were we talking about? Oh yeah, you going on cruises and stuff. It is fun.
Yep.
It's definitely an experience. It's cool because a lot of the food and stuff it's like free, all you can eat basically. So the things you have to pay for are, at least on a Carnival cruise, which is what we're on, is you have to buy a soda plan if you want like soda water, or you have to buy like a drink plan if you want like alcoholic drinks, or you can just buy a la carte. But otherwise, all the food is pretty much like all you can eat, and it's all free stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Wow.
You have like room service. You can like get room service anytime, and there's some stuff that's free on there too, as long as you're within like normal hours. And normal hours being 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., which is pretty sweet. So yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little getaway. And then of course you go
little stuffed animals, or the towels that they fold up like animals.
Yeah, I do. We've got one. We got a crab tonight. So
nice.
I'll send you a picture of that one too. Yeah, recommend it, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, internet connections aside, what is the little thing that we're going to talk about tonight? What are we most excited to discuss? Are we talking movies? Are we talking just some general topic? Obviously still keeping going forward with our script. I don't think we had any corrections. Homework possibly to discuss later. Shout outs to Mom and Dad, because there's your $1 for this episode.
Woohoo!
And let's see, we got a little bit of news to share.
Yeah. I have a couple of things.
Sure.
We keep going on about this Apple AirPower mat thing, which is supposed to be a charging mat, where you can put your iPhone and your watch and your AirPods all down on this little charging mat and have them all charge wirelessly. But they canceled the product. They originally said it was going to be out in 2018 sometime. They couldn't make it happen. And I think there were just like technical difficulties that they couldn't figure out. So the product has been officially canceled, which is too bad. Elvia and I did buy.
Good thing you didn't have one on order.
Yeah, I didn't. They weren't even available to order, so that's good. Elvia and I got a couple of little cheaper wireless chargers from Amazon, and I've been enjoying that because when you go to bed at night, you can just put your phone down. You don't have to like plug it in and stuff. So yeah, that's the only news thing I'll share for now.
Still got you a little Tron warble, but yeah, that's right, because you were saying you and Elvia had gotten the charging mat. So,
What about you? What news? What's this Garfield telephone news that I'm curious to hear about? I don't even know what that means.
Oh yeah, so there was so many things happening, so I just tried to pick the most interesting. So apparently on a beach in France for like 35 years or something, these Garfield telephones kept washing up on the beach, and no one, like, people had their ideas of maybe, where they were coming from, like maybe a shipwreck or something, and its cargo was spilling out. And finally, I guess they found the cave that this cargo crate was open in. And, cause like an environmental group was concerned that all these bits of plastic were just floating out in the ocean. But they finally solved the mystery and were able to clean up all of these retro Garfield telephones that, kept washing up on the beach.
Man, that's crazy.
Let's see. Destin Sandlin, the guy from Get Smarter Every Day, has started a new series on social media manipulation. And it's a 3-part series of videos that he's doing. First one was on YouTube, second one is on Twitter, and the third one's on Facebook. And I've watched the first 2, and they're very interesting. So good job, Destin Sandlin, for that very critical analysis of these items. Critical Role launched a Kickstarter for an animated series. And they were like, oh, we'd be so great if you guys could help us bankroll this. And like within the first day, they had already funded their project, and they had so many stretch goals. And so with over 68,000 backers on Kickstarter, they've raised at least $9.2 million. They've blew through all their stretch goals. We have an animated Critical Role series. So now if you're like, hey, if you want to get somebody into Critical Role, now you have a full-fledged animated series that you can show them. And that's going to be voiced by them, the characters from the show.
Will it be like a D&D story, or like will it be like a whole new story of something, just something like nerd-related in general?
The first part of it is going to be an original news story that happens in their past that's being written by Jennifer Murrow. But then with the stretch goals, they're going to animate the Briarwood arc of the Vox Machina campaign, where they went to Whitestone and they fought like undead stuff. And it's really intense and super cool. So it'll be awesome seeing that all animated out. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're partnering up with Titmouse Animation Studios. So like big deal. Like, this is all, like, a big deal. Like, everyone, like, I guess in the past blew them off. But then they were like, let's do a Kickstarter. And sure enough, the fans were like, we'll help you fund this. So, good job on that. There was an ICE bust. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office. They did a bust at a tech company here in Allen, Texas. So there were a bunch of people that got arrested by them. So that's kind of a big deal. Local news happening here in the Dallas area. And then Julian Assange, the guy from WikiLeaks, as of the 5th of April, they were, threatening that he was going to be expelled from the embassy. And as of this morning, I was reading that he had been arrested by the London Police Department on all these kinds of charges. And so all I got to say is, pay attention to your sources and all different viewpoints, because there's all sorts of mud and obfuscation and murkiness surrounding this whole issue.
And he's the guy who founded WikiLeaks, right? That's where I know that name from?
Yes, the guy from WikiLeaks who released footage of, the atrocities happening in Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff like that.
Okay. So what's London arresting him for?
Well, I think they were like, because he was kicked out of the embassy and he was like being disruptive or abrasive or something. And apparently there's a call for extradition to the United States and, all these other things that have piled up, and it's just, it's a mess. It's a mess. So,
man.
And if they charge him guilty for leaking this information, it's going to spell all sorts of freedom of the press issues in the future, and certainly make it harder for whistleblowers everywhere who are trying to get the truth out on a story. Oh, interesting.
I hadn't heard about that. That's good to know.
So, yep, that's the important news, and trying to be mindful of our time. So, we got the news. What's the mini topic that we want to discuss shortly?
Well, we can do a short of a little bit of each one. I think is okay with me. Might be kind of quick, but first up is Captain Marvel. We both saw the movie, and
yes,
I believe. How many stars did you give it on Letterboxd?
5, of course.
I gave it a 3 stars out of 5. So, kind of the gist of my feelings about it was I enjoyed it, but I don't think it was stellar. I thought it had a really cool I like the intro scene a lot, where it's these Kree people sneaking around and infiltrating with their awesome tech and stuff. I like the special effects and the music and everything. I especially liked all the little tie-ins and connections to the rest of the Marvel universe. Like, it's fun to see Agent Coulson out and about. I like him a lot because I'm a big fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and so he's like the main guy in that, of course. But what I didn't like about it was, I think, the pacing and the kind of weak emotional connection. Like, I didn't really care a whole lot about any of the characters. I felt like Captain Marvel herself, you know, it was like, I don't know, I had a hard time connecting to them, and I think the pacing was kind of slow, and then some of the dialogue where she's like trying to be buddy with Nick Fury, it's kind of like, it just kind of falls flat. I don't know. But special effects wise and everything, I really enjoyed it. But emotional connection, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I'm still excited to see like what she does in the Avengers Endgame, of course. That'll be really exciting. But as far as this one itself, I was a little underwhelmed, but I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't rave about it. Now, what did you about you?
Oh, well, see, I saw all the things that you said were lacking. It probably helped that right before we went and saw this movie, Casey and I had finished watching the documentary called She Makes Comics, which talks about the contributions that women have made to the comic book industry. And Mary Sue DeConnick, who is the current or the most one of the most recent writers of the Captain Marvel comic, she actually does have a cameo in the movie in the LA subway. She's one of the passerbys who walks by Captain Marvel.
Oh, cool.
But she talked about how she how she did her part to help revitalize Captain Marvel in the comic books with the more modern take. And so we were riding off that high of that documentary, and we were like, impromptu date night, let's go see Captain Marvel, and we did. And I later found various Twitter threads on it as well, and they were talking about, so you're talking about, not having the emotional connectivity. If you remember, like, and this is, I guess, spoiler horn warnings on stuff, but she's dealing with amnesia, she's dealing with an actual bolt restraint on her neck that's actually inhibiting her powers, and she's being fed lies and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So
true.
She's kind of a blank slate as a way, because she doesn't know who she is, and it's only through, breaking the inhibitor on her neck and, finding that emotional connectivity to humanity and finding out the true horrific war crimes that the Kree have been committing against the Skrulls, really, helps to turn it around. And yeah, maybe she's like I said, she's dealing with amnesia and people putting her down and saying what she can and can't do. But I think by the end of it, she truly comes into her own. And, she doesn't need no man to save her. Clearly, she's the one doing all the punching and kicking and blasting. And Nick Fury is a great partner for her in helping her to discover her past and actually be her backup and help her out. And we know the origin now of the intergalactic pager. And I lost my bet because I thought she was hanging out with Uatu the Watcher. And it turns out she was helping the Skrulls find a new home. So that's why we hadn't seen her since the 90s.
Yeah.
And she's also responsible for the name of the initiative.
Yeah,
the Avenger Initiative. Avenger was her call sign. And and her origin of power not being a genetic modifying machine, it's actually the Space Stone, the Tesseract, the Space Stone.
Yeah.
Is her source of power. So now, just like Scarlet Witch, we have another person whose power source comes from an Infinity Stone, and she's also a Kree hybrid because her human blood got mixed with Kree blood. So I imagine Captain Marvel is going to be integral with maybe possibly destroying the Space Stone, just like Scarlet Witch was able to do with the Mind Stone in Vision.
Interesting.
So yeah, I think that's gonna certainly play into it. I think.
All right, you make some good points. I think I'll have to. Next time I see it, I'll look out for those things, and I'll see how I feel about it. That's an interesting point. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And definitely Casey and I called that post-credit scene where the Flurgan, a.k.a. Goose the cat, started barfing on Nick Fury's desk. Because as a cat owner, I was like, there is no cat barfing scenes in this movie. As a cat owner, I know that's coming up because Goose eats the Tesseract in the movie. Yeah. And I was like, surely that Tesseract it has to appear somehow. And sure enough, bleh. And then, okay, there's the Tesseract.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. And then when we got to see some of the first teaser trailers of, even the teaser at the end of the movie where she appears, and is like, where's Nick Fury? Like, ooh, so good. The drama's already there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then her and Thor getting to be buddy-buddy in some of the other later teaser trailers where Thor calls for Stormbreaker and Captain Marvel doesn't even flinch. And she just smiles at Thor. And Thor's like, I like this one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah.
All right. And then the other big mini topic, how crazy is this? Speaking of cosmologies and universes and stuff, we actually now have an image of what a black hole looks like, even though it's super fuzzy.
What's the story? I didn't hear about this one at all.
Yeah, it just came up yesterday or the day before. There was a lady who was working as part of the team, and she was the one who ran the program, I guess, to process the imaging. But there was a whole team that was able to witness in MS-87 a photographic evidence of a black hole and the event horizon.
Wow.
And photographic proof that this black hole at the center of this other galaxy is like 6.5 to 7 billion times larger than our sun.
Wow, that's insane.
That's how massive the black hole is, yeah. So, we're babies now. We're babies in the realm of physics, trying to understand how the universe works, and we made a major learning step, I guess, as it were. So that's pretty cool for future physicists out there. We were alive when the first image of a black hole came in. And of course, memes have already started to flood in of Sauron's all-seeing eye and all that kind of stuff as well. So if you've seen those, that's what they're in reference to.
Man, awesome. I didn't hear about that. I'll have to check it out. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so now you've got interesting conversation starters at your mixer that you're going to be going to later.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna get some of that 24-hour all-night pizza and walk around outside.
Oh,
probably
sweet.
Out on the deck. Yeah. Cool. Well,
awesome.
That's a quick little travel episode. I think we better wrap it up before the Wi-Fi cuts out again. But
Yep. And okay. So, just remember, everybody, as we do our ending spiel, that...
Be sure to check out our website, blanktape.show, for all of our episode tracks, past, present, and future, links to all the topics we've discussed, or to send us an email.
To stay up to date with the podcast, you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter by searching for @BlankTapeShow and BlankTapeShow on YouTube.
You can find this podcast through Overcast and Apple Podcasts, or go to our website and save our RSS feed directly to the podcast app of your choice.
If you would like to contribute to the Blank Generation, consider becoming a patron on our Patreon page. I'll get that right eventually at patreon.com/BlankTapeShow.
Happy sailing and safe travels to all.
Aye, aye, Captain. Ah.